Hi, and welcome to Platteville Fantasy Podcast Show for the end of this for the regular season. It was a good season for most. For 8 people, it was a good season. For 8 of us, it was a bad season. Sad season for me, but I've been out of it for a while, so I've had time to get over it. Not really, I'm not over it. But anywho, what I want to do this week is not really talk about individual stuff too much. I just want to say congratulations to our playoff teams, which are Jordan for the first time, Jameson, Man, Paulo, Fred, Brian, Jason, and Bunker. Bunker winning the regular season. So congratulations to you guys. Better luck next year for everyone else. So, to move on, I'm going to do a quick props and drops for you, but I'm going to give you a bigger one, a big list of one on the message board soon. This is just a quick one I did while I was putting together the stats. But, anywho, so, your props and your drops for the regular season of 2011's Fantasy Baseball League. So, props to Bunker for having the best regular season, which was the 10th best of all time. Drops to Pete for having the worst regular season, which was the second worst of all time. That could be expanded further, but I'll get to that later. Props to Jordan for his first ever playoff. Hey-oo. Drops for Bill for his first ever non-playoff. Sorry, Bill. Props for Jason for going 3 for 3 in playoffs. Drops to Alyssa for missing her first playoff appearance ever. Oh, it snuck up on me. Props for Man for going to his 6th straight playoffs. 6 out of 7, by the way. This is the second most in the league. Drops to Dan Burr for missing out on his 6th straight playoffs. 7th overall non-playoff season out of 8. Props for Mitch for going 4 for 4 and winning seasons. He's never had a losing season. Who would have thunk that one? Props to Brian for making it back to the playoffs since 2006. Drops to Brian for missing the playoffs for 4 straight years before that, or in the middle. Props to Brian for best single week ranking. This is minus the first week, which was extended. So this is from week 2 to week 21. So props to Brian for having the best single week of the year, which was his week 7 season. I can do this 7. So if you want to look it up, that's the best week. Worst one was Jordan's week 2. Props to Fred for best hitting week, which is his week 9. Check that one out. It's really good. Worst hitting week was Jameson, which is actually week 15, which should kind of be edited out, but whatever. That was a playoff week. Best pitching week went to Brian, week 7. That's where it probably made his best week. Worst pitching week was Kyle's week 14. Props to Bunker and Fred for having all 6 of their hitting categories this year. This is a cumulative, being top 8. So, like, I just ranked them all the way across, and all of their hitting categories, all 6 of them, were top 8. So, props to you guys. Drops to Dan Burr and Pete for not having any top 8 hitting categories. You can check it out on the head-to-head tab on our Yahoo Fantasy thing. Props to Bunker for being the best hitter of the year overall. Drops to Pete for not hitting anything or stealing bases. Props to Man for getting all the pitching categories being top 8. Drops for Kyle and Bill. You had one category be top 8, but the other 5 were bottom. So nobody missed out on top 8. All the categories. Nobody went for a sweep in the worst. So props to Dan Burr for being the best pitching team. So this is a hint for next year, I guess. pitching doesn't win championships. You gotta have some hitting to go with it, I guess. But that's top. Alright, that's like just rankings, whatever. So whatever. Drops to Fred for having the worst pitching. Fred is actually number 2 in hitting. He's got a big disparity. Drops. This is a crazy one. Drops to Alyssa and me for being 2nd and 4th overall, best overall stats, and not making the playoffs, and proving that being really active with me having the most moves in the league and Alyssa having the least amount of moves doesn't make a difference. I thought it was because I was over managing and she was under managing. Didn't matter. Whatever. So those are your quick props and drops. I want to give you some best stats. So your best stat attack for the regular season. So most runs in a week was 50 by Bunker. Most home runs in a week was 15, done by Fred twice and me once this last week. Most RBIs was Fred with 52. Most stolen bases was 16 by Apollo. Best average in a single week was Fred with a 370, and I didn't include, well, it didn't even matter, but I didn't include week 1. Best OPS was Jordan. Ew. You had a 1.017 OPS in a single week. That was pretty good. Pitching-wise, most wins in a single week, Apollo and Brian with 8. Least amount of losses. This one's like almost everybody. But Apollo, Mitch, Pete, you did it twice. Marcus, 3 times. Ja, Bunker, Fred. Jameson 3 times. Alyssa, Jordan, Dan Burt, and Kyle. Did I say Dan Burt twice? Kyle twice. Dan Burt twice. All of you guys had 0 in week 1. I wasn't on the list. I think there's some other people. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 out of the 16 teams accomplished 0 losses in a week. There you go. Most saves in a week, Jason, 10. Most Ks in a week was Mitch with 78. Best ERA, this is not including week 1 or week 15, was Marcus with a .8. And best whip, this is not including week 15. I think week 15 is the best whip, actually. But it was actually Alyssa on a real week with a .75 whip. Crazy. So, yeah, that's your quick regular season finale. I'm going to have a bigger one, or I'm going to write these more props and drives. So I like doing that and looking at stats and stuff like that. Just this real quick. That's your preview. Crazy looking at the matchups coming up. This is gonna be crazy. Let's look at the playoffs. We got Bunker versus Jordan. Bunker's like that's his dominating team, but it hasn't been that great as of late. You got Surge and Jordan coming through, squeaking into the playoffs. That's gonna be a good match right there. The Fred versus Apollo. This one, it's got Apollo's kind of good pitching. I think Apollo has good pitching. I don't know. Apollo, you kind of squeaked in there with some really bad stats. I was just looking at them. Other than like a couple, I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. But Fred's got awesome hitting, so I'd be surprised. I'm definitely giving Fred the edge on 5 of the hitting categories, not stolen bases. That'll be a fun one to watch because pitching is up in the air. I think that one's gonna come down to pitching. If Apollo can take enough pitching stats categories, I mean, maybe some average batting average. But yeah, Brian versus Jawman. Jawman with the strong pitching, and Brian's been cruising, but that's probably the matchup of the week right there. Brian versus Jawman. There's your matchup of the week. And then the other side, Jason versus Jameson. This one's gonna be interesting. I think Jason might take that one. Yeah. So playoffs are gonna be it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I'll give you playoff predictions. How about this? This is only 4 matches. I'm gonna say Jason tops Jameson. I'm gonna say that one's gonna be an 8-4 victory. Brian and Jawman, I think Jawman takes it. Jawman takes it 6-5. The Fred versus Apollo, I think Fred takes that one 7-5. And the Bunker versus Jordan, this is going to be your upset of the week. Jordan beats Bunker 6-5. And there you go. There's your podcast for the week. Enjoy the playoffs. Go Brewers. Here's a couple more quick props and drops while I'm sending these to Mitch. Props to Katie for watching these and wanting to see more. It was a good meeting you at the game. I hope to hang out with you more. Maybe when I'm more sober. Props to Mitch for editing these. Drops to me not getting this out on time. So, there you go, guys.